Hello, I'm Miss Kelly and I'd like to take this opportunity to talk to you about relationships and health education here at Brockhurst. Last week you'll have received a letter with guidance from the DFE about the statutory requirement for all primary schools to teach relationships and health education. Here at Brockhurst, we took this as an opportunity to revamp and revitalise our PSHE curriculum. We started with the DFE guidance, used Hampshire advice and all the fantastic resources from the PSHE Association to revitalise our provision, ensuring that all statutory requirements for relationships and health education were incorporated into this as well. This enabled us to then create an engaging and exciting curriculum for our children to explore themes such as growing and changing, mental well-being, healthy lifestyle, money, media influences, alongside all the statutory requirements for relationships and health education. As you watch this video, I hope we're able to explain a little bit more detail of what all of this will look like here at Brockhurst from September.
Relationships is an important part of how children learn, whether it's because they're feeling physically safe, that they're able to control their emotions, important that they feel valued, belong and are worthy. If children are to feel these things within their classrooms, it's important to discuss what a positive relationship is and how we can form them. PSHE and relationship education go hand in hand. Relationship and health education will be a part of our PSHE curriculum that your child will be taught here at Brockhurst come September. Topics will cover three main themes: health and wellbeing relationships, as well as living in the wider world. All of the lessons will be age appropriate and a range of resources will be used to create interesting, informative and engaging lessons. First, we talked to our Year 6 children to see what they thought children should know about relationships and health education here at Brockhurst. They talked about what they wanted to learn about. Thinking about what we should know. How by the end of Year 6 they should all be able to and again by the time they leave primary school, hopefully they would all be able to feel confident about talking openly to each other, sharing their opinions and expressing their feelings. Our aim of our relationships and health education is to create a safe space, as our Year 6 we're talking about, where sensitive discussions can take place safely and securely. It will be important that we teach our pupils the correct vocabulary to describe themselves and their bodies, help our pupils to develop feelings of self-respect, confidence and empathy, as well as prepare our pupils for the changes that their bodies will go through our studying of puberty and then understanding of sexual development and the importance of health and hygiene. All of this is to create a positive culture around issues of sexuality and relationships. Having listened to our pupils, we then created a PSHE curriculum that we're really excited about to share with the children.
Now let's take a look at some of the resources that the children will be seeing and using as they explore the themes of relationships and health education.
The relationships aspect of PSHE focuses on what is the same and different about ourselves, as well as those people who are special to us in our lives. Looking at the ways in which we are similar and different, we've got a PowerPoint slide here that comes from the start of the lessons where we've got characters of different creatures, different cartoon characters that the children can start to talk about ways in which they are similar and different. Throughout our PSHE lessons, we will always be signposting ways that people can talk about their emotions or share their experiences, and how we need to do that in a safe and caring environment. We will also highlight other adults within the school that they may want to talk to about some of these issues too. When we are focusing on pictures of our families and what a family may look like, the resources we will use will help to reflect the families that we have within our school, so that hopefully our children will be able to see pictures and recognise a family that is similar to theirs. When we're talking about when people feel unsafe or possibly unhappy in a family, we have a story of an unknown child, and we would explore the feelings that that child has, why they might be feeling that way, and again highlighting the importance of who this particular child talked to when they had worries and concerns, and likewise we would talk about how if they had similar feelings they could approach different people within our school. Another resource that we would be using when we're talking about feeling safe would be the NSPCC PANTS and Pantosaurus resources. This talks about how we keep our bodies safe and that they are private. Moving up into year 2, the relations aspect of PSHE will be focusing on what makes a good friend, and the health and well-being aspect focuses on how we can help ourselves to grow and stay healthy, which will have a unit focus on our bodies. So, first of all then, looking at what makes a good friend. Again, we will have stories and ideas sharing how we can be a good friend to one another. Again, ideas that may use within the classroom following the lesson. Talking about different emotions, with anger being an emotion that can affect friendship, and talking about ways in which we can deal with our feelings of anger as well. Thinking about our bodies, we start by looking at animals and deciding which animals are male or female, and then looking at our own bodies and human bodies, thinking about how we are all unique and special, as well as then using scientific names for the different aspects of our bodies. So focusing about our eyes, our arms, our fingers and our nose, belly buttons, but then also using the correct names for our intimate body parts, so our penis and our vulva. Again, we will have different activities where the children will label different diagrams and using the correct names for each body part. In year 3, the relationship section of PSHE looks at friendship once again, especially focusing on how we deal with arguments within friendship groups. In families, we look at how we care for each other. Here we have an example of a situation the children would talk about. The children have had an argument and they need to come up with some ideas as how to solve the problem. They may come up with some not so good ideas, but likewise they may come up with some nice strategies that again they would be able to use within the playground to help their own friendships. In the family section, we look at our bodies once more, making sure that we are using clear scientific language for our parts, and again thinking about what is private. We talk about in one lesson how people can change their mind about how they like to be touched. And here we have some examples of situations that the children would talk about. These are unknown people and the children would have to talk about ways in which they can give advice or help to some of the children in this situation. This all links with the NSPCC resources of Pantosaurus that the children will have seen in previous year groups. Again, we will be exploring families and family life, and pictures that they would have seen in year 2 are revisited and talked about, again with the hope that children are seeing their families reflected in some of these pictures. When we're talking about families, there would also inevitably be discussions about when families argue. Again, talking about the feelings and emotions linked to that in a sensitive and caring manner. Moving on to year 4, the relationships part of PSHE focuses on how we treat each other with respect, thinking about courteous behaviour as well as our human rights. Within our health and wellbeing section later on in the year, we focus on puberty and how our bodies grow and change. Here we have a Premier League resource that focuses on inclusion, discrimination as well. There are videos, scenarios, activities that help children to explore this theme. Here you can see a task where they decide which of these situations are discrimination and which is inclusion. Moving on to our health and wellbeing part, again we look at the scientific names for our body parts and again what this means as children enter puberty. There are different facts that we explore so that children have all the information that they need as bodies grow and change in these coming years. Again, all lessons would be talked about being an element of caring for one another and recognising that we are talking about sensitive issues. Again, building that safe environment where children feel happy and free to talk about any concerns that they may have. In year 5, the relationships section of our PSHE lessons look at friendships and how we can communicate safely with our friends, which really brings in the online safety and importance of being kind to one another online. With the health and wellbeing section of our PSHE lessons, we build upon previous learning from year 4, looking at male and female puberty changes in more detail, as well as looking at how puberty affects the reproductive organs. Here is a resource from our friendships section of the curriculum, looking at online safety and how we can be safe online and thinking about some of the things we can post and share with one another. Moving on to the puberty section of our health and wellbeing in year 5, again we are using scientific terms and clear diagrams to help explain the changes, what they might look like and why they occur. The importance of using the technical terms in all discussions help our talks to be precise and clear. Here, as we're exploring these resources, you can see the importance of creating that need to be respectful and supportive of one another as a class when talking about these issues. As it will be delivered by the class teacher, the children will have a clear, strong relationship and hopefully be able to talk openly about any issues or feelings that they may have. Finally, looking at year 6, the relationships aspect of PSHE focuses again on puberty, also introduces the element of reproduction and some of the positive and negative ways of communicating within relationships. We also explore some of those changing emotions and feelings as the children are leaving year 6 and preparing for secondary school, and how adulthood and independence come into play within those areas. Here we have an example of some of the transition resources that will be used within the class to talk about the feelings and emotions attached to change. Once again, the element of having a safe and secure environment for children to talk about their feelings will be vital within these lessons. Again, highlighting places that children can go to talk about their feelings and emotions. As we move on to the elements of family and reproduction and puberty, there will be resources and images that will have been used in previous years, so that as children move through the school, they are more and more familiar with the resources that are being used. Here we have an example of how a baby starts, talking openly about the different stages that occur in conception. Again, these lessons are planned for the summer term when there are strong relationships within the class and with the adults in the class as well, to help talk about these things openly and safely.
Thank you for watching. I hope the video has explained what relationships and health education will look like here at Brockhurst from September as part of our PSHE provision. Please do take the time to complete the short form so that we can hear your views and opinions too. Many thanks.